Hey guys, welcome back to Global Football Insights with Oliseh. Today we're talking about the Super Eagles' big 4-0 win. Was it a real comeback or just a temporary fix? I've got an amazing guest with us today, football analyst Edafe Elefe. Welcome, Mr. Edafe. This is the first time I'm seeing you, at least virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure being here. I've been, on the peripheries, hoping that one day I get a starting shirt.
Yeah.
Finally got one. I hope my performance is good enough for me to get another one, especially
Okay.
in a highly competitive team as this.
Okay. Well, we're happy to have you. Don't worry. We'll see about that after the end of the game. And of course, our coach, the man in the building, always, the permanent fix here, Sunday Oliseh. Welcome, Sunday.
It's a pleasure once again, and I'm really happy to have. Well, one thing very clear from the beginning, you can see that Matt is a footballer. He's already calculating. Yeah, have I got my place? I think he would have been a good player to play against Benin.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful to see. All right, let's start with you, Edafe. That 4-0 win felt like a national sigh, and in fact, was the very first 4-0 win we'll see from the Super Eagles during the qualifiers all through, But let's look at this deep down. Was this, joy that they finally delivered, or frustration that a powerhouse like Nigeria had to sweat it out that much against Benin?
Well, there are many sides to this piece of cake, and it has to be sliced according to those sides. On the merit of the individual game, I think that Nigeria was fantastic. The coach did a fabulous selection, and suspension also helped his work. It's a national sigh of relief anyway, because on the day, on Tuesday night, if we had lost that game or drawn that game and get knocked out of the World Cup, the cry would have started immediately.
Yeah.
So it is either a second chance for us to make amends or an obituary postponed. We have not qualified for the World Cup. Unfortunately, the words on the street, this celebration on the street kind of like sound like we have qualified for the World Cup. Like if you're not a football following person, the interpretation will be, oh, Nigeria have qualified for the World Cup. But we haven't. As a matter of fact, if you go by the antecedent, the record that was shown in these qualifiers, you would say that Nigeria is the weakest link of the four teams that are going to the playoff. Why am I saying that? The other teams had higher points than us. Some of the teams have points that are higher than even South Africa that qualified as top of our group. So on the strength and basic of that, we might struggle. I'm sorry if my words are offensive and heavy, but that's the way I see it. A country like Nigeria should not be going through the playoff. And I know that there are people who say, but Cameroon were beaten by Cape Verde. But look at the number of points that Cameroon picked up. They fell.
I am seeing where you're coming from, but I think personally that it is important for us to look at the situation on ground. Like, was it 2 months ago? The majority of people in the country had realistically given up. They felt it was totally over. So to now get just little glimpse of hope, and I think that is what is making our people rejoice this way. It is understandable. But there's also something very important we have to look at here. Nigeria is a young population. The majority of the Nigerians we have are people that are used to Nigeria playing like this. Anybody who's less than 30 years old, with all due respect, did not really live up to see the glorious days of Nigerian football. So what they know is what they see now. So to them, they are used to this. So the first time you see a 4-0, it's crazy. Whereas the first game Nigeria ever played, South Africa, ended in 4-0. When South Africa came out of apartheid, I think it is justified to rejoice because it gives some hope that we're still in it. It's still in our hands now.
I think you're also trying to be diplomatic because I kind of want to side with Matt because Nigeria, as the kind of talent that we have, we shouldn't be going through the playoffs. And this brings me to my next question, where we're looking at the bigger picture here, where are fans now too comfortable with these narrow escapes? And has the bar been so low for us that this is what we accept now and we have to rejoice with it?
Let's face it. When it comes to soccer, football, we rejoice at mediocrity. And that is why when we get mediocre results, anything that's above mediocre, we'll celebrate it. I'm not trying to downgrade what we have gotten now, but we are celebrating this because it's a lifeline that's been thrown to us again because we were practically dead.
All right, let's talk about the man who carried the night, Victor Osimhen. And I'll be throwing this question to you, Edafe. I know you've had...
I know your plan.
Yes.
I know what you're cooking, but this is good.
Don't worry. It's going to be a nice stew. I've been seeing some of your videos and your opinions on Victor Osimhen, and I know you have one or two things to say about him. 3 goals, powerful display, pure class on that. But here's what I need to know. Was that win about tactics finally clicking from Eric Shell, or is just one man saving the manager's job?
The job of a coach is a very difficult one. When the team does well, we look for players to praise. When the team does badly, everything. Coaches are the last set of people that I blame. When I start blaming a coach, I think I've exhausted my patience with them. But to the question, I would say that it's a bit of both sides. The players came to the party. Let's remember one thing that is universal about us. We are a team that performs miracles with our backs to the wall. With the Atlanta 96 team, they didn't give them all the financial support because nobody expect them to go there and do anything, because Nigeria has never been to the Olympics in football and even score goals or win matches. So what is special about the 96 team? Son Oliseh is yes, a testament to it. If you haven't read his book, you would know all the story. We went on to win. And then 2013, everybody says Sakeshi. They are not going to do anything. Why is he missing home-based players with foreign-based players? What did we do? We won our third Nations Cup. So with our backs to the wall, we are the best country at bouncing back. But when you look at the teams we had in this group that just ended on Tuesday, there is no reason why Nigeria should not be trashing Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Rwanda. Nobody has promoted Victor Osimhen like I have done. He knows that. Victor Osimhen is an incredible player. He's a beast. Everywhere he goes, he scores. It's unplayable. It's untouchable. Put him in the team and you will get goal. If you don't get goal, he will win you penalty. He scores all kinds of goal with his head, with his foot, left, right, bicycle kick. He scores all kinds of goal. And then 90, if not 100% of this squad have never been to the World Cup before.
Oliseh, oh, what a goal!
All right, so the playoff war, the road to the World Cup 2020, the FIFA World Cup playoffs is a do or die affair for Nigeria right now. And Sunday, walk us through the new playoff format. How many teams are left? What exactly must Nigeria do? Because you've earlier said that we just need to score 2 goals and shut up shop. And why does this new system feel like a minefield? Any wrong foot and you explode.
The playoff is going to produce at the end 2 teams to go to join the World Cup proper itself, those who have qualified. Now, from Africa, the first is that it's based on the ranking system. The ranking system has really helped Nigeria a lot in the sense that you're seeded first. So that gave us direct possibility to play Gabon. In as much as I feel that ranking is deceptive. So then we have Cameroon playing Democratic Republic of Congo. These 4 teams normally are supposed to be solid teams. 2 of them are faltered. Cameroon and Nigeria should not be playing the playoffs. To qualify, we will have to win Gabon, and then we have to win the winners from Congo and Cameroon. And the winner from the African playoff will now head up to play runners-up or qualifiers from other continents, except for one continent. Europe does not have a right to send in somebody to these playoffs. So there is one particular continent that's going to be sending in 2, and the other 5 continents will come in, and 5 continents will come somewhere with 4. So 6 of them are going to play. If we qualify from this African playoffs, which I hope, we will be going to play in another playoff whereby the ranking plays a role again.
Yes.
The ranking now will now decide, because there are 6 nations that are going to be playing, but 2 will sit out to the first games. Those 2 that will sit out the first games are the 2 that have the best ranking. And the 4 that have the least ranking will now play each other. So if you now are able to qualify here and we have the best ranking when we get into the international playoff, what will now matter is that we will have just 1 game to play, because Boderas will have 2. But depending on who's coming against us. But if our ranking is not as good as the other ones, then we have 2 games to play. So we have 3 games to play now. I hope I'm not going too fast for the viewers. We have 3 games to play if our ranking helps us well. We have 4 games to play if when we get to the international playoff, we have a worse ranking than the others that are present there. The idea is to have 2 teams coming, a second chance for 2 teams to come to the World Cup. We have no choice. It's a 1-match playoff. You are not playing the home and away. It's just 1-match format. So you're playing just like you're playing the FA Cup. Okay. That is why, as I said earlier, it is important to play it just play for the results.
So is this format better for African football, or is just more room for confusion Sunday?
It is, to tell you the truth. In fact, my brother too with Edafe. To tell you the truth, it would have been better if we had qualified directly. That would have been better for us. No, to tell
I
you the
think the
truth,
playoff gives you an opportunity to bring in one more team. So it is good.
True.
Yeah.
But I agree with, well, listen, yeah, qualify direct and leave the headache of traveling, extra
Yeah.
games, clubs
Yeah.
grumbling that,
Well-
oh, they don't want to release
well-
players. Many things will happen.
there's something you have to also take note of is that certain teams fall into groups whereby you have, okay, like we have 54 nations in Africa, split into six per group gives us 9 groups. These are the 9 groups. Now, but there's a possibility that due to ranking or due to some problems, you might have 2 major teams because the aim of FIFA is to have the best teams to be very, very competitive at the World Cup. That is the aim. And the qualifiers are supposed to like eliminate the ones that are weaker teams, the ones that are not too good, and then have the best teams at the World Cup proper. If we
Until
understand
Nigeria
that,
and Cameroon decided to allow the weaker teams to qualify.
no, because we became now weak teams.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
forget sentiments.
Nobody allowed anybody.
You are where you are now is because you did not get the results. So you're part of the weak teams. But there are some top teams that might
Avoid Cameroon by all means. They are like Ghana. Even when they are not good, even when they are faltering, once they see Nigeria, there's just something that wakes up in their DNA. We have Gabon, they have Aubameyang, but I think that currently Osimhen way, way better than Aubameyang. Even if they have Aubameyang, he's not going to play attack, play midfield, play defend, and be goalkeeper. If Osimhen comes to the party, we will tear their defense apart. If they like, they score against us. DR Congo, they are the unknown. That's the most difficult team to play. They have history that says they hardly lose to Nigeria. History. But having said that, there is really nobody in their team that you want to tie down. So for me, give us Gabon. And then what happened between DR Congo and Cameroon, we can't decide that. And we'll play anybody and see how it goes. We go each one game at a time.
Okay. And tactically, what's the single non-negotiable plan Nigeria must stick to when it comes to this knockout game? Defend, counter, or just dominate from start to finish?
Let the coach take this one.
I think tactically, what we have to do is just quite simple. Difficult to execute, but simple.
Okay.
That is, you have to play to your strengths. And we have to make sure that we are not going into this game with an open formation. We cannot play with looking for space all around us. No. Every time we're going to play this game, every minute of this, we have to look at it in the sense that we make sure we don't concede and make sure that we try to just score 1 or 2. If you score that 1, you close the door. This is contrary to my own philosophy of football. But the situation now has brought us to a situation now whereby we now have to adapt and change and animate our playing style to now suit these circumstances we find ourselves, which is the one that game per game, we cannot play 2 games at once. So at the moment now, anybody, I'm hearing people talking about, well, you finished, you want to play the Congo, you have to go there. No. At the moment now, you can't play 2 games at once. Everything Nigeria should be thinking about now is Gabon.
Win the next game.
Gabon.
Yeah.
When you finish Gabon, you forget it, then you go to the next one.
Edafe, missing out on the last World Cup, of course, did hurt. And you said it earlier, it disturbed your business, or rather, your business took a big dent. Now, missing out on this one,
$375,000 dent. That's what it took. Let me be clear.
couldn't wait for you to-
$375,000.
Okay.
When people say it's dent, it's like I lost 2 naira. $375,000.
Okay.
Somebody's marriage, I've gone into gutter because of that.
Okay, I'm sorry. It wasn't a dent. It was a huge blow, right? Is that better? Now,
Good.
I have to calculate now.
okay.
5,000 by 1,500.
That's a lot of money. Now, missing out on this one seems unthinkable and unforgivable. If we're going to think futuristic now, if they do miss out on this one, how would you react? How would this be like for Nigeria missing out on the World Cup back to back?
I honestly would not react. I had expectation for Qatar, but I don't have expectation for this one. So if we miss out, I have gotten coping mechanism because
Okay.
I never thought it was possible that we're going to miss out on Qatar. I was jumping like Amaju, bilateral agreement, but it happened. It happened. And once that happened, going into this one, seeing how they started playing already, I am not intoxicated by the 4-0 win over Benin Republic. I am a man that has lost. I know I'm somebody who's invested in the sector. If we fail now, because of the shock observer from the things that have happened to me, it's like Oliseh, when you see Super Eagles not doing well, you are angry because you captain this team. But you've been there, you've seen this generation, the way they play, you just wave it. Not like you don't love your country, but it's like, man, these guys have done this to me before. I'm not going to let that happen again. You ever dated a guy who slapped you once and you say to yourself, it will never happen again? That's where I'm at with the Super Eagles. My relationship with them is, I don't care. I'm indifferent to their performance. I'm a Nigerian. I'll be happy when we win. But if we don't qualify for the next World Cup, I'm not going to be surprised.
So, Sunday, are you expecting the NFF now to make the right preparation, especially for the playoffs?
And I'm hoping that we'll make the right preparation. Personally, I will say that it will be a disaster if we don't qualify. I'm not going to go into details, but if I can speak to my countrymen, this non-qualifying for this World Cup will be one of the worst things that could ever happen to Nigerian football. It will be so dramatic, the multiplier effects of not qualifying, because not only is it 2 World Cups one after the other, it is because it is coming at a time whereby almost the whole world is going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
We have 10 teams going to the World Cup from Africa. We are practically talking about 20% of Africa is going to the World Cup, and we are not part of it. So the gravity, what is going to affect the media business, the football business, the local league business, those who are making academies, those who have football clubs, who are trying to groom youth to sell abroad, it is going to damage the credibility to even want to come here and try to look for talents in Nigeria. Yeah. If I go on and on, you will not have a good day. But the point is that even all those who work on podcasting, those who work on television, those who work, even companies that the betting companies, this is going to be dramatically, financially, psychologically, in all kind of Kali that you can think of, is going to be damaging for us. That is why I am part of those who has, given a sigh of relief. At least we get the playoff. The chance is still there. Because I have too many people that I have come to appreciate that I spend time with now, that their livelihood is now linked to Nigerian football doing well. Edafe included. The man just told you now, if you look at it now, we're talking of $365,000 that he lost.
$375,000.
$75,000 that he lost. Let's round it up like they do in business. Let's put out 400,000. 400,000 by 15. You're talking of a man that's lost almost billions, almost 60 billion. That is what he's lost because they didn't qualify last time. So we have to make sure that we're there. Hey, if you're hooked on these incredible stories and want more epic insights, smash that like button. Subscribe now to our podcast channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Share with your friends and join our community on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, X, and Facebook for exclusive updates and more unforgettable tales. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah.
When it comes to Osimhen, I think 4 more games. If Osimhen plays the next 3 or 4 more games, like he did this game against Benin, I can assure you that Osimhen in the next 1 or 2 years will be heading up to the Premier League. And they will buy him for crazy money. Why am I saying this? Is that, like Matt rightfully said, he is the best player we have at the moment. Even though at the moment, Lukman is rated a bit above him because he is the last African player of the year. Yeah. But when you're talking of qualitatively and what the player has brought to the game, he's the best player. I think that the way the man played this weekend, a lot had to do with the fight. This is the kind of game that suits him. He has to break in, a game that has to prove a point. This is a guy who came out working hard from the streets. So this atmosphere that is like,
hostile.
He excelled at hostile atmosphere, he's going to excel. Yeah. He played at Napoli, he excelled because the atmosphere in Napoli, for anybody who's never been to the city of Napoli, it's a kind of hostile city. He's gone to Turkey, he's going to excel. So the best way to get the best out of Osimhen is to provoke him to play well. Is to provoke him and give him a reason to want to do well. It's not that he doesn't want to play well. Huh? He wants to, but if you want him to bring out the superhuman out of him, and this was the perfect situation. Because
what if Victor Osimhen gets injured? Because it looks like if he gets injured, the whole campaign collapses. And it also looks like the team is built around him. And the level of dependency on Victor Osimhen was shown again against Benin Republic. He scored a hat-trick. 3 goals before Onyeka scored the 4th goal. Before then, the number of goals we've scored in the qualifiers were not more than 2 at most. And now we're scoring 4 goals because Victor Osimhen came into the party. We also know his injury history. He goes back to club football to play for Galatasaray. He'll play the league game, play in the Champions League. He's just 1 knock away from ruling himself unfit to, come for the World Cup qualifier playoffs.
Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to go into tactical and technical. because it's very important. To start with, playoffs are not like any other kind of games.
Okay.
It's a one-off game. So that means you don't go into a playoff trying to be the one who scores the most. You go into a playoff trying to be the one that concedes the least. That means that it's one game after the other. These are games that we need to score 1 or 2 goals and close the door. Our priority now should be consolidating our defense line, because it's now you're playing what we call FA Cup. It's just one game. In as much as Osimhen is extremely important for us, we cannot afford as a nation to build your World Cup and say, if one player is not there, we won't go ahead. Osimhen scored 1 goal in the last AFCON, and we got to the final. So we have to find a solution to this. And because I don't want the players to listen to this and hear that, okay, should Osimhen be injured, our chances are gone. They should also believe in themselves and say that, okay, this, I'm looking at it from a nationalistic point of view now.
Yeah.
But to be realistic, if Osimhen gets injured, we are in trouble. That is one thing I can say now. If Osimhen gets injured, our physiognomy is in trouble, because we are playing Gabon for the first game. Gabon is coming at you with one of the most experienced and talented and sometimes underrated players in the history of Africa.
Yeah.
I'm talking of Aubameyang. So we have to have our own general there too. And at the moment, say what you like, Osimhen is the general of this Super Eagles team. So we need him to be fit and not injured to play this game.
All right. Well,
To chime in there,
okay.
I've had so many people ask this question, and it's almost sounding like, oh, Nigeria is a one-man team. Without Osimhen, we can't do well. Every great team in the world is a one-man team. The rest plays, but there is one man they go to.
That stands
When
out.
Klinsmann played for Germany, Klinsmann was the leader of the bunch. When Klinsmann was buying out, it was Olivier Bierhoff. Italy had Roberto Baggio, the only man in football who died standing. Brazil had Romario one time. The one time that Brazil didn't have a one-man team, but there was still one man standing out, was when they had Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, and then Ronaldo da Lima, the ultimate striker ever. So every team have that one man who, when it tick, everybody tick. For Portugal, it is Cristiano Ronaldo over the last 2 decades. For Argentina, it is Lionel Messi over the last 2 decades. So Nigeria is not different. In the days of the Olisehs, it was Rashidi Yekini. There was always one man who leads the line. Like he said, I mean, he's a practical coach and he's seen it all. We're playing a cup game. I wouldn't mind winning every game 1-0, 1-0 and get to the World Cup.
Exactly. Now you're
I don't
talking.
want to score 9 goals against Gabon, and then in the next game after that one, we can't find a goal to
You
score.
can't find the net. I agree with you.
And then there's a problem. I want to play the cup game, Jose Mourinho, score 1 goal, lock shop, and go. Call it ugly. My dear, economically, going to the World Cup is big for us.
All right, typical knockout football. Now, while Osimhen was saving us, while Osimhen was busy saving us on the pitch, chaos was brewing elsewhere. And Sunday, I'd like you to address this too as well. That plane delay before the match, was it just bad luck, or does it speak of a deeper culture disorganization that has always haunted the Super Eagles for years?
Sometimes I ask myself, what is wrong with us? We were playing the first game on Friday, and the second game was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now, what anything that is organized will do, when we have a flight company like Air Peace, the moment that game finished on Friday, you were not even supposed to go back to your hotel rooms. From the stadium, the team was supposed to go straight to the airport, fly back into Nigeria. You win one night for such a crucial game. So the fact that they even stayed there after that game and slept the night there was already a huge monumental error. That is something that's always about us. But it's like I said in the past, we have to learn to succeed in spite of administrative mismanagement. And in that way, the players have done it well this time. Because in spite that plane was going or not coming, they were still able to come and win. But you can't do it on every game. That's the thing. So at one point, there has to be a solution to it. So I think for me, it's nothing like a mistake. It's just another thing of what we are saying, that the only way we can get out of this chaos we are going through now, we have to do something drastic. Simple.
Okay. So let's get to the real problem, coaching, the NFF, the whole brouhaha. We are already aware of the symptoms. Let's talk about the poison now. Now, Edafe, the Super Eagles play 1 week like they're so good, they're great. Couple of talents coming together and giving you that teamwork. Another time, when you see their football, it hurts your eyes. You know, you're wondering, what am I watching? You know, so who carries the blame here? An underrated, underprepared manager, or an unstable NFF that keeps changing the direction and trajectory of the team?
I wouldn't say I know more than Oliseh. It's hard to do analysis now when you have an Oliseh here because he's the only one that has walked the plank on both sides. He's walked the
Yeah.
plank as a player for 10 years and never had a bad game.
But I don't know it all. Oh. I'm still learning too. So
no, we're going to.
I can also learn from you. I can also learn from
I
your
agree.
opinion. So.
He's walked the plank for 10 years, never had a bad game. That's very hard, even in other countries, to have 10 years of functional play without having a bad game. First defensive midfielder in the world to have 5 assists in one tournament or 5 games. Is it 5 or 6 games in 94? So I give him a lot of credit for that. And he's also walked the plank as a coach. Well, no, I wasn't really that impressed with him. He did some things, but I mean, I was one of his strongest critics there. There are some things he did that were right. But let's look at this holistically. We won Benin Republic because, and I dare to say this because in the last 10, 15 years, I've been embedded with this national team. All the players, by Tuesday of camp opening, everybody was in camp. It's the first time in 10 years. Anybody that have a contrary fact, prove me wrong. Okay. I have been in the Super Eagles camp in Asokoro, where we're playing a match in Ghana on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, the World Cup qualifier last year, 2022 match. The star player of the team came in on Thursday. He had been in Lagos for 2 days and came in on Thursday. I'm not going to raise dust. I'm not going to mention his name. He was a starter in the away game. We played a goalless draw. And from a footballer's perspective, when you look at that alone, as a player who came in on Monday, you didn't even make the bench. But somebody who came in on Thursday is starting, it demoralizes the team. The Nigerian national team would always have bad administrators. You know why? The government of Nigeria does not consider sports as a business or as a soft power tool to interact with the global community. There are people today, this is 2025, who still get free passes at airports, shopping mall, other countries because Segun Odegbami did this. Adoke Amesemaka did that. Sunday Oliseh did that. Jejo Okocha did this. Tijani Babangida, Finidi George performed at a very high level that when you stand up, 2023, I was in Amsterdam and I was having issues. By the way that issue was rising, any other person, any other country, I'll be deported. As soon as this, are you Nigerian? I said yes. I said, you know Finidi George? I said yes. And I brought the interview I had with Finidi George and the pictures on my phone. And the guy said, okay, next time you have to do it like this, don't do this. And I moved on to Portugal. So these are soft power that our government does not consider.
So you owe Finidi.
I mean, he's my big brother, so I don't owe him. That's what you get from a big brother. I don't owe you too if I get anything on your back. Let me just say it now. Well, having said that, if our players sustain the habit of coming late to camp, there's nothing anybody can do. If our players do the basic, because to be very honest, there is no football administrator in Nigeria that can come into the NFF and do well. Doing well in football is a product of money. I agree that they do not have the administrative acumen to turn the brand, this humongous, ubiquitous brand that they have, into a sellable product. But if the government is not funding sport, look at all the countries that are doing well. Senegal started doing well when their government invested heavily in sports. They are they are highest growing. Some Oliseh mentioned in one of his shows the other day. Fastest growing African country since 2000, 25 years. Morocco did not have women football before. When they invested, government, not NFF, not their FA, government invested in their football, all of a sudden their women is threatening us now. They're even protesting. They had the audacity to protest that we did not win where the referee that helped us, Nigeria, against
Take it easy now. They are my in-laws now. Take it easy. Which one you did?
Okay. Tell your wife not to be angry. And countries that have come up before that failed to invest, like Cameroon, Ghana, Equatorial Guinea, are falling by the wayside. So to grow in football, you cannot divorce government high-level investment in it.
If I may cut you short on this one, there is something that I would like you to also understand is that in as much as we try to be analytical, we have to be fair too. Because if we were in their shoes, we would like them to be fair on us too. And in the sense that why I'm talking of fairness is that it is difficult to ask a player to be disciplined and to do their own services right if the player is unpaid. Now, if a player, like we are hearing now, that players have not been paid bonuses for 30 games, we can preach all what we want.
More than 30 games, actually.
Now, if we can preach what we want, you have no authority on that player to tell me you have to be on time because the player will tell you, you're not paying me. I coached very average players in Holland, and I took them from Division 2 to Division 1. All I did was I played on their strengths. They were not good enough to perform individually, so I created a team football, and I make them perfect movements and division of labor. This group of players we have now, what they need is a structured playing style that everybody has their responsibilities to carry out. And like you rightfully said earlier on, every team has one top player. But that top player always has an assistant. The assistant has an assistant. So that means in as much as you have Lionel Messi, you have somebody else doing all the dirty work all around, helping him to be Lionel Messi. So in as much as now we have, in bringing it to the Nigerian system now, we have an exceptional player in Osimhen. We need people like Lookman all around him. We need people to be fighting the ball like in Didi. We need people to be making sure that they make him get situations that will bring the best out of him.
Stay with you, and you mentioned strength. If we can't even define what the team's strength is, isn't that our clearest sign of failure?
That is not the failure of the players. That's the failure of the administrators and the coach.
True.
Because it is not the player that knows his strength. Okay. Like we say in our language, you can't dance and look at your nyash. It is either you are dancing or you're looking at your nyash. So the player that is playing, he can't play and be looking at himself. So that means the player is playing, the coach or the administrator that is watching will know, okay, this player is playing this way. This is what he's strong at. This is what he's weak at. Now, where he's weak at, I will make him make sure that. For example, let me get an example. I had a top defender when I was coaching in Holland. His name was Pierre Schuurs. He was on the under-17s when I saw him. He was 17-year-old. I looked at him, he had some qualities, but he was a player who was tall, not extremely very good in the air in spite of his height, but at the same time, but he was very intelligent. He was very intelligent in passing. He was very intelligent in positioning himself a bit. So I worked on his position and I gave him a solution. I told him, look, from now on, make sure that since you are not good, when you're running 20 meters, 15 meters sprint, you are not that great. Make sure you don't get into a situation where you have to run 20, 15 meters. So that means either you are very smart to make sure that before they make the pass, you put him on offside so that he becomes offside, or you position yourself an advantage so you have 2 steps ahead of him. So when they give him the ball, you are already 2 steps ahead. And that gives you a chance. He did so well. I made him a captain. Ajax fell for it. They bought him. Now, he went from under 17 in 1.5 years when I coached him to Ajax Amsterdam. He's now playing at Torino. But when he got to Ajax Amsterdam, what did this player do? He forgot most of what we had taught him. He now played into the Ajax style and all of it. He thought now, okay, I can do that. And then the weaknesses started showing. And when I ran to one of the Ajax officials, I said to me, hey, but with you, he was... But I couldn't start sharing my own secrets with him. So I told him, I said, look, he will adapt. You need to help him, talk to him. Yeah. Eventually, he couldn't go further than Ajax. And now he's gone to Torino. This is what Super Eagles players need, not crucifixion, especially at this moment.
Okay. All right. So let's stay with leadership. We're still with it.
Before you go to the next question, I want to ask something. Skippo, it's a new idea for me that, the Super Eagles don't need criticism, they need support. Listen, Roman,
I didn't say that too. My brother, I didn't say that.
Okay, I thought that was the last line.
No. I didn't say that. No. And apart from it, hell no. If they don't criticize you can't.
Because I don't know how to do praise singing. I don't know this eye service analysis or journalism that is the new vogue. I'm not a PRO to anybody.
People are trying to be politically correct.
I'm not going to be politically correct anymore. I'm not a diplomat.
You have to be yourself.
So, if the coaches are struggling, like when Eric Shell took the team, my expectation, my first tweet on it is, God help you, that the Super Eagles is like a team, like a human being that drank poison by himself. And trying to revive the person, they finally rush the person to a hospital. At that point, the doctor is not expected to save the person. If he saved the person, it's a miracle. That's what Eric Shell has done. But now to not say, after that, love this person, do not blame me, because if you blame him, he will go depressed and take another poison. My brother, you go die this time. So sometimes when these players are not coming to camp on time, when they are not responding to training on time, what we saw against Benin Republic was a team that for once chose to put aside all, as Bible will say, all earthly things and focus on the godly matter. Yeah. And they achieved it. All they should have done was do the same thing over the course of the double header against Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and South Africa, maybe only in Uyo. We will not be talking playoff now. We will not be thinking of spending $3 billion that we don't have in the playoff that we might not qualify for the World Cup. And for somebody like me, that my business is dependent on their great performances, my ecosystem suffer, and I have people that are employed and paying salary, I would take them on if they don't deliver. So that's the whole thing about it. You don't like them. No, it's never like. They are the god of my industry. If I pull them down, I will suffer. But look, they should also deliver.
So that we're very clear on it. So that we're very clear on this. I am not saying don't criticize the players. Hell no. My whole life I face criticism. Hell no. I'm not the one who's going to say don't criticize the player. In fact, you should criticize the player. If a player is not criticized, he doesn't improve. It is very, very simple. Now, the point I'm just making is that in as much as we are throwing criticism at them, it was good, like the question to us, you asked us. You are criticizing players, but how about the flight that didn't go well? Do your own part. And
Yeah.
then you can read. That's what I'm looking at.
All
I
right.
agree.
So Edafe, with all the way you've been able to put the whole energy through, imagine you are the NFF president for just one day. What's the
Two,
first simple decision you would make to put this team on the right track?
I actually could lead the NFF.
Okay.
I've faced these questions a lot of time. If there's any governmental structure that I can run, it's the NFF. And I'm not putting myself up for a vote, but I think that is the
You think it's that
cheapest job.
simple?
Is the cheapest job in the world.
Really?
Yes, the job of the NFF president is one, perform proper transaction, two, communicate well. Those are the two areas where the NFF are falling down short. If I want Sunday Oliseh to do a job for me as my player, and I know that I do not have the money that is commensurate to his service, I should call him and say, guy, this is the job that we have to do. It is for me. If you're serving Nigeria, you're first serving me as NFF president because this is how I get my next re-election. But sir, with all respect, I will give him the respect because he's working to help me grow. Sir, this is what you are supposed to be due. But see the budget that we have, see the funding that we have. This is what I can afford to pay you. Please call your players, tell them. But when you arrive camp, I would also communicate everybody. That the NFF does not know how to do. Not this one, not the past one, all the NFF, they don't know how to communicate. I will not go the way of the former president who say bilateral agreements. I won't do that. But I will level up to the people. No, I will level up to the people and I would accept that the government of the day is my master. I will not do that thing that when the government of the day wants to sack me, I will not say, oh, government interference, FIFA will ban us. No, I won't do that. I will let Nigerians know that I'm serving them and this football is important for all of us. I think
Yeah.
that's the easy way.
let's look at it this way. The reality is this. It will surprise you to find out that in the organizational structure of association football, the person who's supposed to be running the federation is not the
General.
president. The president of the federation is not the one who's supposed to be making big declarations. The person who runs a football association is the general secretary. The general secretary does the day-to-day running of the administration. They are the ones who make all the analysis. The president sanctions, signs, refuses, or resends people back on. The president has so much work to do, you cannot run the day-to-day of the federation. And that is why Infantino, who today is the president of FIFA, started out as the Secretary General of UEFA. And eventually, so he got his running in there. So how the federation is run and how money comes into the federation, those are things that in a country like Nigeria should not be a problem. And I'm not going to go into details because it's not my part to do now, and we are not here for that.
Okay. So why do we now have small issues like player bonuses, travel chaos, and they keep spiraling into national scandals every time we see our dirty linen being aired internationally? Is it just neglect, or does nobody in the system truly care?
Well, to start with, there is what they call budgeting in business.
Okay.
So that means before your year starts, you already make your budget. I understand that in the Nigerian system, you could as much make a budget or request today and you get your budgeting in 2 years or something. That is understandable. But if that has been the case for the past 20 years, that means that you're budgeting for the next 2 years, you should do it 2 years before. So the finances are available. But there are also certain things that have become very strange with Nigerian football. In the 90s, the early 2000s, even the under-17s had match bonuses. The coaches had bonuses. The under-21 had match bonuses. Where was the money coming from? The money was always there. And this is why, in as much as they say there can't be government interference in football, if the government is responsible for providing the federation with money to pay itself and pay people, that's because the federation cannot afford it. You cannot tell the government not to tell you that, look, I'm unhappy with the way the football is being run. So I think, they say who pays the piper dictates the tune. Yeah. So that is how it is. But I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to help anybody be kicked out of government, of administration. But the reality in it is that if we want to go further, as regards to this, a change has to be made.
Yeah. All right. I'll be staying with you Sunday because we want to move now from the boardroom to the dressing room. And let's talk leadership on the pitch. Your era was defined by discipline and accountability. And from your book as well, I've seen how a very good leader, a very accommodating leader that you can also be too as well. Now, does this current squad have that same backbone? Enough strong voices to stop things from falling apart mid-game?
Well, this current squad, they need examples. They need people to guide them. And if you don't have it inside of yourself, you try to become it through your group. I think that one of the major problems this squad has is the fact that they are not able to be what we call in French autocritical. You as a team, because these boys are trying, but they are trying with what they have. As a team, you don't wait for the coach to tell you this man is not moving his behind on the pitch. You already start arguing on the pitch and telling me, hey, my man, you're not doing it. Yeah. I'm running too much for you. Your man is passing you all the time. You already started. So you ought to make yourselves get better. That is lacking. And the moment you don't have that, you cannot dominate. Because it is when you have that attitude, that discipline, and that hunger, and that camaraderie, whereby you say, look, if your man can dribble you once, I will cover for you once, cover for you twice. But I can't cover for you the whole game. Then he will know that, okay, I've made a mistake. I can come back. Okay, you help me out once. The second time I give an effort, But if you don't have that, that is how it is going to be. That is why I feel for the boys, and I think that they need help. They need help. And especially now that they're going to play the playoffs, they need so much help because it's going to be It's going to be, they need help now.
One of the dilemmas that coaches have is that many players become fans' favorites, and when they are put on the bench, suddenly he's laughing because we're sit down somewhere and someone say, why did you put Mikel Obi on the bench and you play, what's the name of the player? And I've forgotten his name. And I'm laughing because in football,
Onobi.
it is the coach. Yes, Paul Onobi. Now, it is the coach that's with the players in the dressing room, in the training ground, sees their temperament. The coach is not going to come and explain to you that on the morning of the match, the player received a phone call that have demoralized him, and I need everybody that is 100% here. But based on what has happened to the player, is here. And even if they win or lose, the coach is not going to come. Coaches live and die by their sword. Troost-Ekong played against Lesotho. We won. Troost-Ekong also played a game where last minute we considered an equalizer.
Yeah.
The fans are already putting out their fans on him. The NFF official statement on 2 series of matches blame Troost-Ekong and Cyril Dessers. So I think the coach did not tell me this. I didn't hear from anybody. I think the coach felt we're coming home. This is the hometown of the Skippo. We are blessed to have Benjamin Fredericks. We are blessed to have these other defenders, Semi Ajayi.
Yeah.
I would rather play it safe so that in the first 10 minutes, if there is a shaky play in defense, the fans does not say, now so he has started again. Maybe they paid bribe to get him there because stories are flying everywhere. I thought he played it safe with the defense, knowing fully well that this game, what we need to do is to attack and score goals. It's not one of those games where you say, if we draw, it doesn't matter. We must win, and we must win by a certain amount of goals. So if we can do more of the attacking, the defense will not face the pressure. I think that was just a tactical decision. I think he selected the best set of players, and then Providence also helped him with the suspension to Ademola Lookman. This is not me saying Lookman is not good.
I will. From the way I see this is that if we want to have a bright chance of going to the next World Cup, the next games, Troost-Ekong has to be put on the bench.
Okay.
It is simple as that. You get to play for the Super Eagles based on the results you bring in. Now, if you look at the last 3 games we've played, the 2 games Troost did not play. We did not concede a goal. And the reality of the fact is just very, very simple. You don't go in a game to play as a manager looking at sentiments. You play the best players.
Yeah.
If I was coaching the Super Eagles now, even I wouldn't play this game, I wouldn't play Lookman, even if he was fit, because he's been struggling for months.
Yeah, I believe so. He's been out of sorts.
He didn't have a preseason.
He didn't have a preseason. So why are you going to play him in the Super Eagles? Instead, play somebody else and let him come off the bench because he does not have 90 minutes in his legs. He can have 20, 30 minutes. Then you play him for the last 30 minutes. I still believe that our national team coaching job should be for Nigerians. But then again, when you look at the 3 coaches who have managed Nigeria for this World Cup, Coach Chel, or Chele as they call him, has had the best results. Yeah. He's picked up the most wins. He's had some draws, but he's lost the least games.
Yeah.
We can criticize as what we want, that the team is not playing football, they are not too honest. But at least when you look at results, which is what counts in football, he has picked up the best results so far. Now, if this coach now decides...
Side by side, the worst result had come from a Nigerian coach.
But no Nigerian coach was paid $50,000 a month. If you want to look at it from that point of view.
That one
Finidi was not paid $50,000 a month, neither.
You negotiate and accept whatever.
My brother, you can't negotiate what they won't give you. So if you're going to look at it like that, this one is paid $50,000. Finidi wasn't paid $50,000. So let's place it.
Why did he accept $10,000? That's the thing.
My brother, that's a topic for another day. The point I'm looking at here is that if you look at it from that point of view, if the coach now sits down and says, this player, I don't want to play him, accept it, respect it. And if the team itself look at it that, look, the captain did not play last game, we won 4-0. Are we here to make camaraderie or want to go to the World Cup? It's up to like that. People will always criticize. If you're a manager and you don't have the shoulders to know that people will criticize and I will continue to do what I feel is right, then you don't deserve to be a manager.
All right. So here's a question that gives me great joy because we see the women's team, they are thriving, while the men's side are kind of collapsing from the youth side to the senior team. Now, Sunday, what are the Super Falcons doing right that the boys are clearly not doing?
I'm not going to delve too much on this, but I'm just going to make it short.
We want more trophies, so go women.
No, the female team are great. They are winning more trophies for one reason.
Okay.
One clear reason that we shouldn't argue much. The female players are succeeding in spite of the situation they have. They are succeeding in spite of the maladministration we have. They are succeeding in spite of being unpaid, because it's not as if they are being paid and others not.
They don't even give us more attention like the guys.
But they are African champions.
Yeah.
So they are now showing you that it is still possible to do now what we did in the 90s and the early 2000s. That means in spite of the conditions, in spite of all the insufficiencies that you have, they are still performing. And boy, how are they performing? Jesus. If you know how proud I was that I was sitting in the living room when they were playing Morocco in the final. My wife on my left, my daughter on my right, Moroccan and half Moroccan, half Nigerian. My daughter was...
And you are proud. You are proud.
I'm Nigerian. No? My brother, I don't mind, because I had support, because my daughter, if Morocco wins, she's happy. Nigeria wins, she's happy.
Yes, so
I was feeling good.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. I'm glad to round up this whole national team and of course the Nigerian debacle up, because trust me, just like you earlier rightly said, that you can ruin your day because there's been a downer, because when it comes to Nigerian football, it just brings your mood crashing down, and the summary of everything we've been talking about here is Nigeria does not have a choice but to make sure that the playoffs, they are victorious. Now club football is back and we're going back to business, which gives me joy because I want to see my team win come this weekend. So, and where I would like to banter the Arsenal, the United fans, and of course Liverpool fans. But we'll start in Spain. Let's take a trip to Europe, where the international break, of course, is over. The big clubs are back, and we have some big games coming up this week and next week. And of course, the headline one is the El Clasico that we're looking forward to in 2 weeks' time. But bad news for Barcelona, because Lewandowski will be out of this El Clasico, and a huge blow for the striker. Does that swing the title race now instantly in favor of Real Madrid?
In favor of your team, you mean?
Yeah, well, I don't want to reveal my secrets.
No, I'm not saying it's your team, but I know that you like the way they play. So
I like white.
No. I don't want people to start thinking that my co-host is biased.
Are you a white garment church member?
No.
You like white? I'm just asking.
It's my favorite color.
Well, the international break has brought injuries, like it has affected some people. But then again, it's part of football. They could get the same injuries playing for the club in the wicket. So it's not really something to worry much about. Now, in this instance of Lewandowski, I don't think that should affect Barcelona much, because Lewandowski has not really been a huge, part of this season for them.
Yeah, this season,
They've already made it clear to him anyway that at the end of the season, they are parting ways with him. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem for them. I think the problem mostly for Barcelona should be the fact that, is Yamal going to be fit? That is that's the most pressing thing for them. But the Spanish league, for me, it's my favorite league, with all due respect, is the league that, in fact, I'm already making arrangements in early November to go watch a game already there. So it's kind of like, it's the best league to watch. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Edafe, which other European club do you think suffered the most from the international break injuries?
I really don't call it suffer. It's part of the game. You can get injured training. You can get injured playing for the clubs. Because most times when we start having this conversation of international break, you knew that was going to happen before. That's why you have a squad of 25 to 30 players. But I don't think that there were major injuries coming off this international break. There were no major injuries. So it is the minors. Clubs have had, like Arsenal, have had like 6 injured players before the international breaks. And some are even coming back. There's really no major injuries coming off this international break.
All right. And now we'll go back to England, where the controversy never stops. The heat never cools either. Liverpool and Manchester United will lock horns this weekend on Sunday, by the way, Super Sunday game. I don't know if it's that super because of Manchester United, but this is a massive test between Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and who would most likely blink first? I'm putting this question to you, Sunday.
Well, personally, I think that this is a game. I'm talking of the Manchester United and the Liverpool game now. This is a game of two struggling managers. One is very, very obvious now. The other one is still being masked. When I say obvious, I'm talking of Amorim. And when I say being masked, I'm talking of Slot. Because the only reason why Slot is, while Liverpool is still very, very much relevant now as regards the table, is mostly due to the fact that they've been very, very lucky with some games at the end. And also because teams like Chelsea and Manchester City, they've not hit the ground running. Otherwise, they would have been dropped off definitely to fourth or fifth position now at the moment. But that notwithstanding, this game is critical. It's critical for Amorim. He cannot afford to be beaten. It's no longer a question of being beaten in a nice way. No. The points now are crucial. And I think psychologically for them, should they get a positive result against Liverpool, it's going to be a booster psychologically for the team and for the players, especially after the international break. So, and I'm looking forward to this weekend because it's always good to have, when the league is back.
Yeah. Edafe, for Amorim now, is this the moment he proves himself or another step closer to exit? And especially for a manager like this that Jim Ratcliffe had come out to even give him further backing, that in as much as we know that he's probably buttering him up, but he's giving him further backing that we still have your back, do what you got to do, and we want you to start producing results.
Yeah, it will be great for him to win, but he's not a coach that has proven that he can sustain back-to-back wins.
Yeah.
So that's, statistically, is against him.
Yeah.
But like Oliseh said, and Slot is dealing with a situation that he's not used to. From the Dutch league to the English league, he's been on the high. He's been winning, and things have been easy. Now he's dealing with internal crisis of Mo Salah asking himself, after all that I've done for this club, are they shafting me to the side like this, like Arsenal did to Anright when we discovered, what's his name now, Nicolas Anelka, or it is my form that is the problem. And knowing that he's scored 9 goals in the African qualifiers or 10, he was saying that I'm still scoring the goals, I'm still the guy, I'm not getting it. Then he started the season with Ugo Ekitike, who came in willing to prove himself. The minute you signed a player who didn't have a proper preseason, who was in crisis with his former club, you shaft that one to the side again. So it's kind of like a crisis that he caused for himself, that is revealing itself now. Man United will be in cloud 9 if they beat Liverpool, because they would have beaten one, their eternal rival. They've beaten the defending champion. They've also beaten Chelsea in this process. They cannot sit back and say, we're not really in crisis. We just need to get our acts right. Because if you can beat Chelsea,
And
who are the
Liverpool.
World Club champion, then you beat Liverpool, you almost got a draw against Arsenal in the opening day.
Yeah.
That's what I meant psychologically. Very good.
Mentally, psychologically, they can say to themselves, we're not as bad. We're a lion that's just grew up with sheep. It's time for us to rise up, eat up all the sheep, and go back to the wild. Talk is cheap. It's easy for us to say it. Derby games, again, have nothing to do with form. Derby games, form go to the wings. Liverpool can come that day, and all the players say, oh boy, forget what you will face on the inside. More die here first. Then you can still face it later. So it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Man United can come on the day and do something. But Liverpool can also come back and say, we are doing something.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of pressure, we know both managers are under pressure already. And also Chelsea too, another side that are under pressure. They are 5 points off the top. Signs that they might start getting their groove back. Are they genuine contenders or just the best looking chaos in the Premier League?
Chelsea are genuine contenders. Psychologically, look, I think they will struggle. I thought from the beginning they will struggle this season for one sole reason. They had a tumultuous end of season. Because in as much as the people are looking at it as nice, they're World Club champions, they have broken the rhythm that the body needs in a footballer's life. Normally, you have a full season and then you need a month to drop off your everything and then gradually build it back up again to explode again. The human body needs it, the brain needs it, everything needs it. So I think that is where I looked at it from a professional point of view, saying they will struggle. But so far, so good. Should they win this weekend? Yes, they've managed reasonably. In fact, I am impressed with what Chelsea have done so far. And should they win this weekend, you now find if they win this weekend, and should Liverpool, slumber a bit, God forbid, Arsenal slumbers, you see them all of a sudden, they are 3 points from first.
Yeah.
So it is not really that bad for Chelsea. So I think the fans could be optimistic. And if I'm a betting man now, there's nothing stopping me from putting my, following up Chelsea and say, look, it's basket to put my eggs in.
Edafe, you mentioned something earlier talking about how City and the likes have not been able to take advantage of the Arsenal and Liverpool shakiness somehow. Now, if Liverpool and Arsenal are still looking vulnerable, could Chelsea find their way sneaking into that Champions League spot on the table?
A wise coach once told me that winning is a culture, it's a way of life. If you win a lot of matches, a lot of competition, you begin to get into that zone where when you play in any competition, you show up thinking, look, I can win this. I might not be my best, but I can win this. It's the Samson principle until they cut your dreadlocks, right? So for Chelsea, they were not good last season, but they
Yeah.
win the what's it called? The Conference Cup.
Yes, they
Conference
did.
League.
End of
Conference League.
season, they were not the Conference League. End of season, they were not good. They were
They
not
were not even
firing on all
favorites.
cylinders.
Yeah.
They went to the World Club Championship again. The culture of a winning club. They went there and won the World Club Championship against the best team in the whole of Europe
Yeah.
until they went to God's own country and they became second best team. So Chelsea, like Oliseh said, result in other places. Let's press calculators now, like Nigerians. Result in other places go south, and only Chelsea go north, and Man
Yeah.
United go north, and then the other ones go south. They're 3 points from top position again, and they say this is the beginning of the season. Maybe the race has just started. Let's see who wins it. He goes from a marathon to a Formula One race again, and then they start calculating when we play against Arsenal, we beat Arsenal, or result turn again, and we're top, so we can rub our shoulders there. I don't think Chelsea is in crisis. I don't think that they are a team that you should look and just snide them away and say they are not good enough. That's a team that can compete. They have a poetry of a squad, and they can call on anybody at any given time. They are not a team that one injury to one player can knock them down.
All right. And now this is for Oliseh. Sunday, let's end with this now. We know we've dissected the whole Super Eagles, what must be done, the NFF, the playoffs, it's war, it's a serious business. But what's the single most important thing that Nigeria as a whole now, I'm not talking about just the players, as a whole must do right now to win the playoffs and make sure we make the World Cup?
To start with, I'm going to share responsibilities to everybody. The first one, I think, are the populace, the people themselves. The first thing we have to do now is that forget what's in the past, now look forward, get positive. By being positive, I mean support the team now.
Yeah.
Support the manager now. Forget that he's not one of us, but the fact that he's coaching our national team, he's not one of us. Support
Yes,
the
he is.
manager. We want to go to the World Cup as a team, as a people, and as a business. So if we want to go to the World Cup, what do we do now? Is the sense that now we all have to gather around the team and now start looking what we call scouting. We have to now get scientific, for Christ's sake. Scouting. Now the team itself, Chile and all, they should now get scientific. Scout the opposition now. Now play only players that are your best players, not sentiments. I have come out now and I have said it clearly. Drop the captain. Let him take a break. I'm not saying don't take him to the World Cup, but for these games, let him take a break. The team needs it. The psychological needs it. I know people will come out and say what they want, but I'm not. I've never cared about sentiments. What has really mattered for me is my country. And at the moment, we play better when our captain is not on the pitch. So we have to get that. Now, all gather around behind the superstar we have in the team, Osimhen. Gather around the Baron team now, and this is not a time for him also to start exaggerating. This is a time also for Osimhen also to know that this is a golden opportunity for him now to lead. And you don't lead with the band, you lead by your own performance. And he's done great against Benin. Continue it. And on the other part itself is the fact is that we all don't have to forget this argument about, look, let's leave the green, white, green calculator on the side. There are no more calculators anymore. We have calculated everybody. Even at the end, I even joined. I used to be mocked. I used to mock, that I used to mock my best friends. I did leave your agreement. But even I also joined. I said, it's true. Look, it should really happen that we should qualify. I mean, because at the end of the day, let's face it, we might make our banter or jokes. At the end of the day, we all love Nigeria.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
We all
Yes, we
want
do.
the best for Nigeria because it favors us.
Yeah.
And it's also somebody like me. It was horrible being at Qatar when, as a FIFA expert, because you talk one thing, they might tell you, where's your country? You don't qualify.
Kai.
So you know how so you just like,
I can imagine how you.
Oh my dear. So you can understand that I really want Nigeria to qualify. We must go.
Yeah.
Now when I see people like Edafe, he's my younger brother. I like him. When I see people like him, that their source of livelihood is linked to it. When I see people like, there are so many of them, the people who work on DSTV, we're all linked to it.
Coach Minko.
let me finish, my dear sister. Now they come. I won't put you for last, boss. You will say you okay. No, when I see my co-host and my little sister Toyosi,
Mm,
it's linked to it. This is
yeah.
the moment where we make money.
Yeah.
Let me share something with you. Maybe that will make you. Maybe that will make our country realize the importance of the World Cup. It is at the World Cup that FIFA makes all the money it needs to run world football every 4 years. That is the most important competition for FIFA. That is the most important competition for the whole world.
World.
That is the most important competition for anybody who is in football business. Why would we not want to be part of it? God has thrown us a lifeline now. Let's wake up.
Yeah.
I hope I
All
didn't bore
right.
you with this.
No,
No,
that was a
it got
good
me
call.
It got me emotional.
Yeah, that was an emotional call to action there. All right, thank
Well,
you very much. And obviously, that's where we're going to leave it. And huge thank you to Edafe Elefe. Like I said earlier, it was good to meet you for the first time virtually, and hopefully, would put you on the team. We'll call you up for other games, maybe. That will be up to the coach anyway.
but I will
Coach will
add
decide that.
I will add something is that the next time
Mm,
I'm home in Nigeria, whether
yeah,
Edafe likes it or not, he's
yeah.
having lunch with us on the island,
Yes,
mainland.
yes. On the
He's
mainland, of
having lunch with
On the
course.
us on the
island, on the
On
mainland
the
because
island.
mainland,
Even
on the
God,
mainland. No,
God
This
spoke through
island, it
you.
has to
you don't
stop.
get to pick the
Edafe,
ground. We
you
are
need
going
to
to pick
come
the
chop
ground.
mama put for
Yeah.
mainland.
I have seen you on the mainland many times now.
No, no,
Okay,
no.
but because you paid me a surprise visit in the studio, right? I
Mm-hmm.
made my entire crew very happy.
Look,
I signed up for it. I
you see,
would come.
you see my small sister encyclopedia there. You should have lunch with her. So all three of us go eat lunch with Toyosi. So
Mm.
I agree to
so
do
that
that.
so that he go give you analysis and you go laugh there.
To that. I agree to that. Thank you very much for having me as well.
Yeah. All
No,
It's
right.
been fun.
it was our
Yeah.
pleasure. We thank you for coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. This has been Global Football Insights, where we don't just talk football. We'll break it all down for you to understand and also enjoy. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend and introduce them to this podcast because it's an eye-opening podcast. So see you in our next episode.